Welcome back to CognitionChunks. Yellowstone Day 4 Part 2. Hiking the Fountain Paint Pot Loop. The Pareto principle, often referred to as the 80-20 rule, posits that roughly 80% of the effects come from 20% of the causes. Originating from the observations of Italian economist Vilfredo Pareto, who noted that 80% of Italy's wealth was held by 20% of its population, this principle has been widely applied to many areas of life. In business and work. Productivity. Often, 80% of a company's profits come from 20% of its customers or 20% of its product range. Task management. In project management, 80% of the project often gets completed in the last 20% of the time. Employee engagement. Usually, 80% of the output can be attributed to 20% of employees. In personal relationships. Social circles. Typically, 80% of social enjoyment and emotional support may come from 20% of relationships. Conflict. Often, 80% of conflicts may be with the same 20% of people in a social circle. In education. Learning. It's often noted that 80% of important concepts in a subject can be learned from 20% of the material. Grading. A small number of assignments or tests often make up the majority of the grade. In environmental sustainability. Often, a minority of sources are responsible for the majority of pollution. In software development. A minority of the code can often contain the majority of the bugs. How to utilize the Pareto principle. Identification. Identify the 20% that is producing the 80%. Optimization. Focus efforts on improving or sustaining the identified 20%. Elimination or reduction. Consider reducing the less effective 80% to allocate more resources to the 20%. Critiques and limitations. Overgeneralization. The principle is a heuristic and not a law. The ratio is not always precisely 80-20ths. Complexity. In many systems, cause and effect are not easily separated and may not adhere to the 80-20 distribution. The Pareto principle offers a simplified lens to identify imbalances in various aspects of life and work. It serves as a useful heuristic for optimization but should be applied carefully, considering its limitations and nuances. Here's what GPT knew about the paint pot geologic features. Celestine Pool. Possibly named for the celestial blue color of the water. Known for its vibrant blue color. Among the visually stunning hot springs, but not as widely studied as some of the other geothermal features. Bacteria mat. Named for the bacterial communities that form its mat-like structure. Unique information, important for the study of extremophiles and early life forms. Rank, highly valuable for scientific research. Fountain paint pots. Named by members of the Washburn-Langford-Doane expedition in 1870. Accomplishments of Namer, first organized expedition into the Yellowstone region, leading to the creation of the national park. Named for the reds, yellows, and browns of the mud, which resembled an artist's palette. The pots are mud pots, which are acidic hot springs with a limited water supply. Among the most popular mud pots for visitors. Red spooter. Named for the red color of the iron deposits. Acts as a fumarole, hot spring, and mud pot at different times. Unique for its versatility, making it a point of interest for scientific study. Leather pool. Possibly named for the texture of the bacterial mats around it. Characterized by relatively cool temperatures, allowing for unique microbial life. Important for microbial studies, but not a major visitor attraction. Volcanic tableland. Named for its flat, table-like appearance. Formed from volcanic activity. Interesting from a geological perspective, but not a primary visitor attraction. Fountain geyser. Named by members of the Washburn-Langford Dome expedition in 1870. Named for its fountain-like eruptions. Known for particularly energetic and somewhat unpredictable eruptions. One of the more popular geysers, but not as famous as Old Faithful. Jet geyser. Named for its jet-like spray. Known for quick, focused bursts of water. Of moderate interest among Yellowstone's many geysers. Clepsydra geyser. Named after the ancient water clocks known as clepsydry, perhaps because of its frequent eruptions. Known for almost continuous activity. Spasm geyser. Named for its erratic, spasm-like eruptions. Smaller and less predictable than many other geysers. Interesting but not a major attraction. Jelly geyser. Possibly named for the jelly-like cinder deposits around it. Known for cooler eruptions, allowing for unique microbial growth. Important for scientific research, but less so for general tourism. Thank you for joining us for another CognitionChunks episode. Please like and subscribe.